Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of In the Kitchen with Baker Girl. Thank you, Jesus. It is another beautiful day to be in the kitchen. Now, I recently purchased this Ninja combo blender kitchen system thingy. And according to the box, it says it is not only a blender, it also says you can mix cookie dough. Well, I got to thinking, would this work for cookie dough? I don't know. But the only way that I can tell you that this will mix cookie dough and it'll be just as good as cookies, because I'm made with my KitchenAid, mind you, because I'm a bit of a KitchenAid mixer person. But will this work for mixing cookies? Well, the only way to find out is to try it out. And so that's what I'm going to do today. And I will give you my honest feedback and let you know if I think it's worth it or should just stick with your KitchenAid. So let's open this up. Ooh. This is huge. Who needs smoothies of this size? My goodness, this is like a foot-long smoothie. Okay, fine. Set that aside. Here's another foot-long smoothie. Okay, so foot-long smoothie number 2 comes with a spouted top. Okay, all right, fine. Now, here is the actual blender attachment, which is this thing here, and it has 2, 4, 6 blades. Nice. But we're not using the blender attachment today. I'm pretty sure this will work fine, because if you're blending soups or whatever, I'm pretty sure this will do the job. Okay, so there's another level to open. Okay, so this is the food processor attachment, and it's got. Okay, so this is the lid for the blender, which we don't need right now. Here's the food processor attachment, which we will need. That there. And here is the base that we need to run the machine. Okay. So, take off the another lid for the foot-long smoothie attachment. All right. Now let's see what it says. Let's see what it says. Okay. So it says smoothie, crush ice, extract, chop dough, and low, medium, high, and pulse settings. So that's fairly standard for Ninja products. Okay. And let me grab the food processor attachment part. Okay, warning, open with care, contain loose, sharp blades, so keep the jar upright when opening. Good to know. Now, I have to say, for Ninja, you do want to take that to heart. These blades and these things are super sharp. It's called a Ninja. And they stay sharp for years. Even an old Ninja can be dangerous. So take it to heart. If they say be careful, because Ninjas doesn't play. One of the reasons why I like Ninja products. Okay. So this, I'm assuming, is if you're blending up something that's hot. It's got a little cover on it. You can kind of let the steam off so pressure doesn't build up in there. So that makes perfect sense. So there's a release button. So you don't pry it open, or there's no twist like my other food processor, which has the feeding tube in the top. Okay, and then, okay. So what if you need to feed something into it while you are mixing? Like, what if you need to blend olive oil into mayonnaise or something? Not sure about that. Not sure how I feel about that, I have to be honest. I kind of like the feed tube. By the way, my oven is preheating to test out these cookies. Okay, so then you close that down And that seals it back down. Okay. Well, we won't hold it against it for right now. We'll wait, hold judgment, withhold judgment. But I have to say right off the bat, I like my old feeding tube idea, but that's fine. Perfectly fine. Okay. So now let me get this washed up and get ready to test out that recipe and see what happens. Okay, she doesn't want to move. She's got to move. There she goes. Okay, let's get things washed up so we can test out the cookie recipe. Now, before I can start doing anything, because I don't technically at this point know exactly, I mean, I've got an idea, but I want to go to because there's always a little recipe booklet along with the user guide, which I don't really, I have several Ninja products and they all have a fairly simple operation. The most complicated thing with Ninjas is how to move the attachments on and off the thing. That's really the most complicated thing, and the lids. Other than that, the panels explain themselves. So let's see here. Okay, so the foot-long smoothie, attachments that I mentioned, these are called single serve cups, and then it has the spout lid, which was that extra piece that I had. The precision processor bowl is useful for chopping veggies, to chop veggie prep, salsas, mincing, doughs, pizza, bread, and or cookies. Okay, so it says cookies. We're gonna hold them to it. All right, so it's got a couple of recipes here. Got some useful recipes. So there's cinnamon something. Okay, oh, that looks delicious. Chicken pot pie, margherita pizza, lemon bars. It said cookies. There is no recipes for cookies. Wait, let me slow down. Maybe I missed something. Yep, she may have missed something. Pie dough. Frozen. Wait a minute. There is no recipe for cookies. Okay. Well, since there is no recipe in here, lemon bars. I don't. Those are not cookies. So since there is no recipe in here for cookies, we must have our own recipe for cookies, and a good thing we do too. So since they didn't give you one, I will give you one. Stay tuned for the cookie recipe. Now, the recipe I'm sharing with you today is a cranberry pistachio shortbread cookie. And I'm making this because it does not contain eggs. So right now, eggs are expensive. And me, just like you, we're all trying to find recipes that either uses less eggs or recipes that doesn't use any eggs at all. So this recipe today does not use any eggs at all. It is a shortbread. Now, I'll run you over the ingredients extra quick. Here I have some all-purpose unbleached flour, and I also have some salt mixed in with the flour as well. I have here some powdered sugar because this is shortbread. The texture of shortbread is nicer if you use some powdered sugar than if you use granulated sugar. Speaking of granulated sugar, I do have some golden granulated sugar because I want a little bit more sweetness than using a ton of confectioner sugar. So I do have some white granulated sugar. And because this is going to be made in the food processor, I have some cranberries and I also have some pistachios. Now these are blanched pistachios that I shelled myself and then blanched them and removed the skins. So they are skinless pistachios. Pistachios have a very pretty rose pink covering that goes over each pistachio. And if you drop them in boiling water and blanch them and then rub them, you can remove that thick outer skin that they have. Or you can leave it on, but you'll get a much better texture out of them if you skin them, especially if you're making baklava. Don't make baklava with unskinned pistachios. It won't be the most pleasant bite because the skins on pistachios are a little bit thick. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, should I use my dough blade? because I do have pistachios and cranberries. And this is not going to chop. This is just going to whack, whack, whack. It's not going to do anything. Now I'm trying to debate. I think I'm going to be very, very cautious. This thing is very sharp. I think I'm going to use my cutting blade today. If I was just going to make a basic shortbread without these inclusions, I would use the dough blade attachment and it would be fine. Let's go ahead and use the cutting blade attachment. So starting off, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and cream your butter and your sugar, regardless of what cookie recipe you're using. So I like to add my sugar in first, and then I'm going to add in the butter. And goes the sugar and goes the butter. So I've got 2 sticks of butter here. Shortbread cookies depend on butter. If you don't add any, this is the fat in the recipe because there's no eggs. If you don't add an appropriate amount of butter, your cookies will be dry and crumbly like. So use enough butter. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and place the lid on. Okay, now, forgive me guys, I'm gonna have to figure out how to operate this upside down. So, pulse. Okay, so turn her on and then I'm just going to pulse. It's quiet. Oh wow, it's very quiet. And that was like 5 seconds. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my extracts. Now I have some vanilla extract and I have some orange extract because these will be, I want a little orange flavor in them. You can use something else. You don't have to use orange, but I think orange is a good idea. So here is some vanilla extract. Now, one thing about shortbread, you want to flavor it. It can be somewhat boring, just sweet, if it doesn't have enough flavoring in it. It'll just be a sweet cookie, but there won't be much running around. Now, this is pure orange extract. These little caps are some of the toughest. And I'm just going to use a scant half a teaspoon. It's pretty strong, so half a teaspoon of orange. That smells so good. I didn't need to sniff that one. I could smell the orange right away. Okay, and normally I would mix that in, but this is not like a KitchenAid mixer, so I'm just going to go ahead and proceed with the flour. So I have flour here, and put the lid back on, and then just mix the flour in. Okay, got it that time. All right, and then just pulse. Okay, now before, because I can't, since the top is dark, it's unlike my other one that it's clear, I can't see what's going on the inside. Get my regular spatula and cautious with the blades. One more thing I do want to add into this before I'm done. I have here a Cara orange, and I'm just going to add in some of the zest into this. Yes, I have orange extract, but I like cranberry and orange anything. So cranberry and orange tea is particularly delicious. And I was going to eat an orange, so we don't want to waste the zest. That'd be a pity, especially for Cara oranges. If you have lemon, you can add lemon. Lemon would be very delicious. Okay. I'm going to use the zest of the whole orange. There's no need, as I say, I'm going to eat this, so I don't want to waste it. That smells real nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in the pistachios. The reason why I'm adding the pistachios in is because I kind of want them to start to break up a little bit. So in they go. And let's struggle with our lid again. At first, it might be a little cumbersome putting these lids on. It was cumbersome to me when I bought my first Ninja food processor. Now it's like nothing. So, I mean, it's no big deal. So, go ahead and pulse it. Okay. and have a look. Looks good, looks good. A little bit more pulsing. Look at me, I'm doing it one-handedly. I'm learning. Okay, that's good. I don't want to over-pulse it before I add in the cranberries. So off she goes. It's already looking so good. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. It's already looking good. Okay, in goes the cranberries. And then I'm just going to pulse it again. Okay. It's better to stop and check and then pulse a little bit more if you need to than to just say, yeah, let it go. So, you know, I'm looking at it. Let's just take it out and have a look. I'm getting happy with it. I'm getting happy with it. Just a couple more pulses. I'm getting happy with it though. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay, that should be it. Yeah. Ta-da! That's very nice. Okay, now yeah, you turn it that way. She's learning. So there is the dough. It looks good. I mean, it looks just like it looks like a good dough. So smells good too. I'm kind of debating, do I want to leave it in here or do I want to transfer it to a bowl? I think for the best scoopability, I think I'm going to transfer this mixture to a bowl. But I have to say, so far, I am not displeased. I am not displeased because it's similar to the way I make my pie crust. And I transfer that to another bowl and then proceed with the recipe. By the way, if you have not checked out my all butter pie crust recipe, I will leave a link in the iCards right here. Okay, so I'm just going to unplug this and take it away. It's done its job. We've already got some flour on it. It's already flour coated. So this is probably the neatest it's going to look. From here on out, it will be flour and butter and sugar and all those other good things. All right, I put gloves on because you can use a scoop for these cookies, but I'm just going to use my hands. And you don't want to work the dough. You just want to roll them into cute little rounds. And I'm just going to give them just a tiny bit of a flatten, just like that. And while I'm rolling cookies really, really quickly, like that, cute little round. These are shortbread, so they should have a little roundness to them. Well, and by the way, there's no leaveners in these, so the cookies they won't rise or anything like that. The only thing about using a cookie scoop is now I got to guess and make sure I'm being accurate. You know what? I might scoop with a cookie scoop, but roll with my hands. Let me grab. Here we are. Let me see how accurate I was. Not far from it. So while I am rolling cookies, let me talk about shortbread dough in general. Now, because it does not contain eggs and it relies on the butter to be the fat and the creaminess in the recipe, so you don't end up with a dry cookie, some shortbread cookies can be a little dry. So to combat that, because for a great part, they use powdered sugar. The problem with using all powdered sugar is powdered sugar does not give a lot of moisture to baked goods because it's like it has confectioner sugar in it. I mean, it has cornstarch in it, which kind of hold back on the moisture in the sugar. So now you do want to use the powdered sugar. You don't want to use regular granulated sugar for shortbread cookies because the cornstarch and the powdered sugar is what will give you that nice soft shortbread cookie instead of a cookie that snaps. You know, like a cookie snaps? It's more like the melt in the mouth buttery cookies. So that's why you use powdered sugar. But I like to add granulated sugar because granulated sugar is very hygroscopic, meaning it attracts moisture. And because sugar, once upon a time, was a liquid, it was from a plant. And of course, they press the juice out of the cane and you get sugar. It will add moisture to your shortbread, so you won't end up with a dry, crumbly shortbread cookie. So that's the reason why I use, these are going to be some big cookies. That's the reason why I use a little bit of granulated sugar. So just keep going and roll your cookies. Now I'm going to do some of these a little thinner because I know my dad likes thinner cookies. These are fairly thick, so I'm going to roll some a little bit thinner. Okay, so the last of the cookies, I've got those pressed down. As I say, those are a little thinner than these cookies. Now, I am just pressing the cookies ever so slightly with just a flat surface, just to kind of smooth them out a little bit. Plus, my dad, as I say, my dad likes really thin cookies. He does not like thick cookie no matter what it is. If it's a thick cookie, even an oatmeal cookie, he goes, you know, you could have made these a little thinner. So I'm going to get these cookies into the oven and bake them. All right, y'all, cookies are out of the oven and they smell good. Now, one thing I did notice, these cookies spread a little bit more than my other cookies. If that happens to you, just take a cookie cutter or biscuit cutter and just kind of reshape them. That can happen with some cookies. It happened with some chocolate chip cookies. They actually have the tendency to spread the most, but that doesn't matter with the cookies at all. It's perfectly fine. It did not have anything to do with the Ninja processor, by the way. It did good. I mean, I think it did pretty good in terms of how it operates. The only thing I would say about it was trying to figure out the lid situation. That was a little bit somewhat confusing. Not confusing and I don't know how to do it, but confusing and it was something you kind of needed to look at to figure it out. And another thing that I'm not a massive fan of is the top is dark. So like me, if I'm working over it, I kind of have to look like this to see what's going on inside the mixer, the food processor bowl. Other than those two things, I think it did perfectly good in terms of mixing the cookies, especially adding in the fruits, the dried fruits, and the nuts. You would have had to chop it and then incorporate it into the dough. And that was the quickest, one of the quickest doughs that you can mix. So I give it a 2 thumbs up because it worked out very nicely. Now, let's see if we give these cookies a 2 thumbs up. I'm just going to have a bite. They look good. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, that's really good. You can really taste the orange. And the cranberries too. And the pistachios. This is good. I just need some tea. The cranberries could have been a tiny bit smaller. I just maybe process it a couple more times. These are delicious. I hope you guys have enjoyed this unboxing video and testing out this Ninja food processor. If you have enjoyed the recipe, and by the way, I will leave the recipe down in the description below, so no worries. If you have enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment if you would try mixing cookie dough in a food processor. And if you have tried it, let me know what was your success rate. Do you prefer the food processor cookie dough or the KitchenAid cookie dough? Leave a comment and let me know. And the good Lord willing, I will see you guys again in another video. Take care, y'all. Bye.